looked in?
Cycle
My
time,
friends? Yeah.
customer experience,
Customer satisfaction. Yes, fantastic.
cost.
Cost.
Yeah, cost. And what is CTQ?
Critical to quality.
Exactly. So when you fantastic. So when you really mix and merge the critical to quality parameters with your 3Cs, your project really brings a very good living document that can be presented to the company. So we are going to see what are the two deliverables that is much needed for representing your defined phase to your management. So this project charter we are going to see today is a living document that will really highlight what your project is up to. What are you going to do in a very, very simple way? How your grannies really tell you a small story before you sleep, or your parents tell a small story when you are a child. Like this, the management becomes a child in terms of your project, because they'll be thinking more on the voice of the business. So when you have to present the voice of the customer or voice of the process to your management, they become the child and you become the parent. So you cannot tell in a very, very long way. You have to tell it in such a short way that it reaches them perfectly, and you are able to convince your team also. It's so simple, yeah, we can just make it. So this project charter is, I'm going to highlight how you are going to present it to your management, to your team members, and it is just one-page document when you are doing a green belt. When you are going for a black belt certification, you will become a master of this project charter, and you will be able to present it in a bit elaborate way. When you grow up, you are able to take a big story, right? Similar way. So we are going to see what a project charter is going to give you. You need to introduce your project in with a small line, and what is the scope of the project, what are the specification limits, what are the control limits, if at all you know, if at all you have come across, you have to put it in your scope. We'll see a small example. This is a very simple template which we used in which practically I have used in one of the companies which I was highlighting. And this gives a very simple orientation to tell what your project is. So I've just taken one small example of, we were talking about the coffee example, right? Assume that you are using paper cups for that, and you are trying to procure, and the supplier is not able to meet the demand. That the supplier is us. We are the manufacturers of the cup. So what is the problem? The problem is the cup assembly process is too slow. We are not meeting the customer demand. See, it is so simple to express in a project charter. And what is how we are going to, now we are going to tell what the business case. The business case is nothing but how you link your project with the 3Cs. It can be all the 3Cs, or you can choose whichever is striking you the most. Probably RK sir was highlighting how you need to choose your problem using a Pareto. And based on that, you would have chosen your problem, and that you need to represent it with a problem or opportunity description or with a business case. Drive profit by improving cycle time and customer satisfaction. Yes. So what I'm going to do next? What is your project goal? Increase throughput to meet customer demand. Okay. Who are all your team members? You will put who, when, where, why, your team members, how to collect, what and all they will be doing. You will be assigning the roles and responsibilities in the later stage. But in team members, You will highlight who and all will be involved. Project scope, whether it is limited only to the assembly or production or from supplier end to the customer end. So I have taken from warehouse receipt to final delivery to the customer. What is the support required? Do you anticipate any need for any special capabilities, hardware trials, etc.? Probably you can tell all these things to your management, sir. I may need one or two expert or consultation from outside, or I may need a Minitab or SPS that can be installed in my system. All these things, which whatever you need the help, I may need an additional system. All this support required, you can put it in the support required column. Okay. Now, when you are filling a project charter, you cannot sit in a room and you should not fill it on an imagination basis. You have to go to the actual place and where the process is performed, because you may be involving a lot of blue collars, and there may be the shift supervisors will be there. So if you want the data to be properly taken for this project chartering, you need to go to the actual place where the process is performed. You need to talk to actual people involved in the process and get the real facts. And for that, you need to make them feel that they are going to add value to the process, and that is going to help them also. If you're going to project, no, this is my project, probably you may not get the cooperation. So you need to be very careful on that part. So you observe and chart the actual process. They should not think that you are monitoring them. If you're taking that time, you have to convince them, this is the reason I'm taking, this is to help us to reduce the cycle time, and you need to make them understand that the end customer is not able to get the required number of coffee cups. Now, reality is invariably different from perception. Few processes work the way we think they do. So you have to do a reality check, and the purpose. Yeah.
I doubt, ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
Is cycle time and lead time same, ma'am?
The cycle time actually becomes the total cycle time with the touch points. So the lead time is different from the cycle time. Lead time is not the same as, if you want, I can touch it.
May I come in? May I come in, madam?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Right. Gentlemen, you are getting a pen from me. What is that for me? It's a sale. What is that for you? It is a purchase. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So lead time, suppose you want an item, the time that you order, the time between you order and get is called lead time. Okay. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So you want the item, how fast you can get the item depends upon your ordering time and then their supplying time, and then by what time you get the item in your hand. That is called lead time. Whereas cycle time is, suppose you are making the pen and I am ordering a pen. I am ordering a pen for say 1,000 numbers. You will have some manufacturing time. You will have got so many shifts, and per shift you will be making so many, so many pens, right? So how many pens you make per day or per shift, whatever be it, right? Now, the first pen comes, the time you note. What is the time the second pen comes from your side? Note down. That is the cycle time for your pen. Understood? So from your producer point of view, the cycle time is there. That is between two outputs, the time taken is the cycle time, right? From the purchaser point of view, the time between you order and the time you receive is called the lead time. Okay. Lead time is for you to plan purchases. Cycle time is for you to plan production. Clear?
Yes.
So finally, cycle time is a small part of lead time.
Yeah.
Cycle time is, in fact, you will have to go deep into the VSM. Probably you can go through my video URL. I'll send you what is the lead time and cycle time. I would have explained clearly there, right?
Okay.
And this is a question of very good people say differently, but the thing is the way you understand, you play as per that. That's all. That will do, right? Okay. From my point, I have given the clarifications to you. What is lead time? Lead time is from the purchaser point of view. Order time to receive time is called the lead time. Cycle time depends upon your production processes, right? Okay. Cycle time, you will have to adjust to it to satisfy the lead time required by the customer.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very fantastic. And also kindly go through what the tuck time is. If the time allows, probably at the end of the session, we can also look in. At the end of the day, we can also look in what is tuck time and how cycle time and lead time plays based on the customer demand. How much it really plays in managing your customer satisfaction can be seen. Now, when you go to an actual process, this spaghetti diagram will really help you to understand how many times we saw the downtime, right? The 8 type of ways. In that, there was one concept of motion. The spaghetti diagram can really help you to understand how many times you are moving up and down in terms of producing your product. How many times you're going to the tool room? If you're going almost 20 to 30 times to the tool crib and you have to surrender it at the end of the day with, or you're changing the tools, then if your time is lost in motion, the spaghetti diagram will really highlight where the waste is and why the variation is happening, whether the concentration is being lost or the worker becomes tired in this motion, unnecessary motion, and you try to bring in all the shadow boarding, fires concepts to keep it near the your workstation. So this spaghetti diagram is a beautiful way of representing. You just put exactly spaghetti diagram is like a noodles diagram. How your noodles look, you may go here and there, why you're going. You exactly map the entire day. How many times you're going here and there. What is the time? What is the time it has taken for every time? It may be tedious in the during initial phases because unless otherwise you have the data perfectly, you cannot improve. So this may really help you to understand where your waste is happening. Now, the next deliverable is once you have put your project charter and you have explained your problem in a very simple way, now you need to understand in your value stream mapping, that is nothing but flow charting of your process, who are your suppliers. In each step, there could be an external supplier initially, and then there will be a lot of internal suppliers and internal customers. Now, so you have to use the SIPOC to clearly understand where the process steps, customer requirements, who the supplier is, how, where you are having hindrances in terms of waste, where the variation is happening. So you need to split your value stream in such a way that it is able to, I'm just putting a small example. This is the process, that is the cups are delivered from the supplier, the paper cups. Okay. Now I am giving a game called just fix some stars, the stickers, small stars, like a child. You fix some stars around it and the specified places. That is on both the sides. There should be a one red star or right, green star on the right. Then you make it half circle stars. Then you put some toothpicks in that paper cup, inspect that how many toothpicks have been put, and then you give it to your external customer. Assume that is the requirement. This is actually a game. So I just so how you have to put the SIPOC to deliver cups. The cup vendor should be there. The warehouse person is your supplier. What are the inputs? You get the raw paper cups. What are the output? Proper materials, that is the star, you're giving the star and the cup. And who is the customer? He is your internal customer who will stick the stars. So now the internal customer becomes your internal supplier for the other department. So the star vendor operator, he supplies, he is being trained, that is also an input, how to fix the star and how the star should exactly look, so that there is no variation. You should not put the stars wherever you want. It should exactly be at the top if that is the requirement of the customer. So all like this, it becomes all internal supplier becomes internal customer, and for the next department. And like this, you tried like a child, you break your process, you put all this SIPOC, so who is your supplier, who is your, what are the various inputs that is needed for this particular component of that process. And this will really help you where the problem is occurring. This will help you to easily understand where the problem is. We were talking about cars, right? That how a car has to be delivered on time, and with whenever you are looking for a customized one, how you will not wait for a long time. So I've just taken one fictitious car dealer example. What happens? You want to buy a car. What do you do? What is the process? Assume you are the car dealer. Okay. Now you are trying to sell the car to one of a client. If you see what are the first, you have to put the process.
One small clarity, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Why the process is not getting changed? I can see supplier input, output, customer requirements are getting changed, but the process still remains the same. For example, if you have a supplier called printer, what he has to do with all these process, meet with a new client, understand client needs in the new car, because the process changes, right, as per the job description.
Yes, fantastic. That's, see, yesterday RV sir was telling about how you will choose the problem, right? You remember? There
Yes.
could be lot of problems, lot of processes in the lot of problems with different processes. You cannot solve all of them at a time. Do you remember that?
Yes, Akesa was telling that it's not possible to solve all the problems.
Solve everything at a time. You can solve it as the period of time goes on, and you will be careful in choosing which one needs high weightage.
Okay.
Right?
May I come in?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you continue. Complete it. Afterwards, I'll come.
So when you are choosing a particular process, that process you need to break and see how you are going to solve, in which stage the problem is happening. For probably to bring in tools, you may be having problem, or fixing the tools inside the machine, you may be having problem, or from an external supplier from the warehouse that is coming to the assembly point, you may be having a problem. So you can always change the process based on the weightage of the problem.
Okay.
Is it fine, Rajiv?
Yes.
You can take any process, Rajiv. You can change the process. Only thing is, your management should be convinced that it will bring in lot of results. Just for the sake of doing, you cannot keep changing the processes. Which process needs lot of improvement and which will give lot of benefits alone, you can convince the management, and you can convince yourself, so that your time doesn't get wasted for a delight portion.
Okay, so the process change as per the suppliers and inputs, depending on the situation.
So that you can for that particular process, there need not be an external supplier. There could be only an internal supplier and internal customer. For sake of taking an example, I just took it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Because that is the game we give for understanding your cycle time, lead time, takt time, and all. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. Hope that clarified, right? So I just to put the practical examples which we come across, I've taken that I'm a car dealer and I'm trying to sell a car to a new client. So you meet with first you have to tell what your process is. You meet with the new client. You understand the client needs in the new car. Then you try to give a good experience with a test drive. Then you explain about the options, price, and the delivery date. And then if he is satisfied, you hand over the keys when he pays the amount or fills in all the formalities for the EMIs after it is processed. Now,
Yes.
for this, assume you're having some problem in this process. Assume. Okay, there is problem because the representative is not good, or he is not able to sell the car, or the car is the problem, or they don't have they don't give proper service. Now, how will you identify without knowing who the supplier for this particular segment of the process is, where the problem is occurring? How will you know without splitting the process into various components? So when you meet a new client and try to explain, what will happen? There could be many suppliers, the manufacturers of the cars that will come, that they may advertise, but the car may not be in your showroom, right?
Yes, it's
So
very
there are
common.
so many problems in selling a car. So to give a first-hand experience, so who are all involved, we are just highlighting. And then you try to fix where the variation is happening. Why it is happening will be how you will be finding it out will come under measure phase. Okay.
RK sir wants to talk something on this topic.
Yeah.
RK sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for calling me now. I just wanted to tell you something. This SIPOC is very important. You can also call it as copies because some companies use the reverse also. They start with COPIS, right? And do you know that what is the first step she said? You start with which one? There are two nouns and one word, two nouns and one verb, right? What is C? C is, I will start with SIPOC only. What is C? Supplier,
Yes.
right? You should know the answer to this noun, right? Now, what is the second thing? I, input. That also is a noun. So you should know two nouns. And then what is an output? That is also a noun. And then what is customer? It's also a noun. All you need to know is English, knowing answers for these four nouns, right? That is one. Please note, we are starting from the ignorance. We are all ignorant right from the beginning. Yes or no? Because
Yes.
who gave an idea? What are all the problems? It's brainstorming. We are only asking. People give. And then who is prioritizing it? It is again by the Pareto chart or something else, right? Nothing is coming from our end. So we should know that we can work only if we know the data, if we get the data. Data is very important. We are getting the data. Now, four nouns data you need to know. And then process is important. So we start with process. Yes or no? We start
Yes.
with process, then go to the output, then go to the customer, then go to the input, then go to the supplier. That is the order we go for it. And it is very important in the sense that it is giving you a different way of thinking. It is giving you a different way of thinking. When you make the SIPOC, you will know that your personality changes, your thinking process changes. Please note that surprise I'll show it to you when you do a SIPOC. Now my question is, you were giving an answer. Do you know you're giving an answer thinking that you are right? What is the answer? That was the process changes according to the input and output. That is what a statement you made. Yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
No, we are starting with the process now.
Okay.
We are starting with we do not know anything. We do not know anything. So we have a problem. We want the solution. This is the thing. This is a process required. That's all. So you will have to identify the process first. Only with this process you can meet the customer. Yes or no?
Yes.
This process is fixed now. Now, once this process is fixed, how do you fix the process? Depending upon the output. Yes or no?
That's right.
Based on the output, the input process is fixed. Now, this output requirement needs a certain inputs. You can't get any Tom, Dick, and Harry input, right? Unless otherwise, where you need gold, you need to supply gold. Yes or no? The output requires gold and the supplier gives you aluminum. Will you make it? No. So the output requirements must be met by the input. Yes or no? And then
Yes.
the output, this is what is output. How do you find out? This becomes depending upon the customer. That is why I say that you start with process. Is this process is okay for this output? This process will give you this output. This output is okay for the customer. Then you go for the input. Till then, input does not matter. If the customer says, no, aluminum will do. Right? Then the process input is aluminum, you go for the aluminum supplier. Yes or no? Therefore, I will probably, we will discuss it later on your Tuesday class with funny examples. And then input. And then what you'll have to do is, you will have to go for that supplier who is capable of supplying this particular input to this specification. Yes or no?
Yes.
Clear? So
Yes.
this is the order in which you fill up this SIPOC, and first thing comes out is process. Then take the next process. Then take the next process till the process is completed. When will the process be completed? Till the final end user reaches satisfaction. Right? So this is the way you go about it. This is a thinking process, very important process. It will change your personality in thinking about planning and development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Raji, hope it got clarified.
Yes, ma'am. It's clarified.
So I'm trying to highlight with a simple example. Assume whenever we are going to a particular restaurant, there is a problem there in the process. Just assume there is a problem. You want to find out where the problem is happening. So you try to highlight the entire process. You arrive to the restaurant. You forget about the traffic and all. That is the different process. Again, you have to split it. So you arrive, you wait for the table to be assigned, then you order for food, then you eat food, you pay the bill, then you leave the restaurant. This is a very simple process. You try to split the process in terms of SIPOC. So whether who is the supplier for the table assigned, when it comes, the waiter comes and takes your order. And again, verbal order, when it is given, it is taken in the form of a written order. Again, the food is delivered and the table becomes dirty, and you just go out to pay the money. So where the problem? Assume there is a long queue when you pay the bill, or the cashier takes a lot of time and you have to wait. So you just want to highlight, you will highlight either to the manager or someone, when I pay the bill, invariably my time goes because I have to wait in the long queue. Put 2 cashiers or put 2 persons to collect the money, or you may complain about the waiter. This is how you try to understand really what is happening in where the problem is happening in the process. Then only you can take the data. Then only you will be able to find out the root causes, why it is happening. Right?
Yes.
For that, you are using a SIPOC. There's one more same.
Madam,
the
go
car
to the previous slide. Go to the previous slide.
Yes, sir.
Go to the previous slide. I'm sorry if there are mistake, doesn't matter, no problem. We are learning. The gentleman who was, I was answering you, no? Please see here, this SIPOC is one where we can put the responsibilities. If there is something going wrong, then we will find out who is responsible for that. What mistake, where has occurred, then what should we do? Correction is possible in this. Please note here, in the 3rd row, after eating food, output is dirty table. Yes. Now the customer she has put waiter and dishwasher. Can you tell me, is there a mistake? Is the waiter is going to clean the table? Have you seen? Or dishwasher? Not even dishwasher. The cleaner will be there. Yes or no?
Yes,
now we found that we are making a wrong plan. Therefore, it should be cleaner who is the customer there. Yes or no?
Conditionally, yes, sir. If it's a
yes,
small hotel,
cleaner is going to clean the table because we are going to give it to the thing. This is how we thinking process will change, right? Anyway, madam, sorry, madam, it doesn't matter. Waiter is not going to clean the table. Therefore, we have found out customer is not the cleaner. Thank you very much.
Done, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
That is why I said thinking process will grow up. In fact, purposely she has made, no wantonly. She's an expert. She has not made a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is a repetitive example of how you sell a car and all that stuff. So you can just go through because I will be eating up a lot of time for your next session. So the CPOC diagram, as we were talking about the vaccination process, right? So you first try to say after vaccine, you need to buy a Calpol or a Dolo. You walk to the pharmacy. There is a lot of people. You wait time. You hand over the prescription. Then he says, yes, I have this or I don't have this. They want to give you a substitute, all that stuff. Then you pay bill, all that. You try to put as a process. Then you break the process in terms of CPOC. This is as simple as that. Any process, even you can apply it in your home. You just, any process you feel there is a problem, even in finding your car, bike, so the keys for your car or your bike, then you can put it as a process. I get up, I brush up, I take bath, where the problem is happening, whether I'm getting lost in the morning hours, I forget, or I'm feeling very tired, all that stuff you can, who is your supplier, your mom brings your coffee or your wife brings your coffee, or you have a servant who can serve you, all that stuff becomes you put a CPOC and see where the problem is happening, and you can try to solve with the tools that will be coming in the future sessions. A small project charter template. It's very easy to fill in. It's a baby stuff. This is the project charter template. When you become an expert in black belt, this is how your project charter expands. Huge. And this will give such a professional look that you will be able to monitor all your toll gates. Toll gates is nothing but each phase you need to get your toll gates signed. So this is a black belt. Yeah. This is the black belt stuff. So I just put in so that you will understand how your project charter outlook changes from when you take a green belt to black belt certification. Another small example. So this is a 3 minutes video. We'll look in how you really build in, sorry.
There is no these things. You'll have to share with the sound, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome back. Have you wondered how a Lean Six Sigma project is selected? In the lesson on roles and responsibilities, we saw that top leadership drives improvement in the organization. But how do they decide the course of action? In this chapter, we are going to learn about establishing a structured approach for project selection, building a business case and project charter for the selected project. To identify potential improvement areas, the executive leadership may drive a gap analysis by mapping organizational capabilities with the deliverables. Employees also suggest areas of improvements with respect to time, quality, scope, and how difficult it is to meet the objectives. Once gaps are collected, the project champion digs out further information, clarifies and refines objective based on the findings and facts. A very important thing here is that this data should be stored carefully and should also be fully understood. If not, it may cause the team go off track later. To select a methodology for an improvement project, we can make use of this flow chart. As we can see, the DMAIC methodology is used when solution is not known, and improvement is required in existing process output. DFSS is used when improvement solution is required for a new process output. DM, DV and Lean are the methodologies which improve processes. In case an optimized process has to be designed, we make use of DM or DV, while if we have to improve existing process, we apply Lean. We must note here that DFSS and DM or DV are essentially the same. There may be scenarios when we know what is the best solution. In such cases, we can make use of project management methodologies to implement solution and bring improvements. Project Charter is a document that captures problem statement, goal statement, scope, milestone, roles and responsibilities, etc. In the problem statement, we highlight the problem, that is, the difference between actual state and the desired state of affairs. While writing problem statement, we should get the answers to questions like, how long the problem has existed, what is the impact of it, where is the problem occurring? A problem statement should not suggest the causes or the solutions. In our case study of Alex the carpenter, we have seen the example of problem statement. Let us see that here again. In this example, we can see that the above three questions are answered. Once the problem statement is written down, we need to establish a goal statement. A goal statement puts forward the ideal state of affairs with respect to the details and measurement that are identified in problem statement. A goal statement should be in sync with the problem statement. We must make sure that the goal statement is SMART. This means, it should be specific and not generalized version. It should be measurable, as that will help in assessing the implementation. It should be actionable, relevant, and there should be a time limit attached. While writing a goal statement, we should keep in mind that it should start with a verb, there should be some numeric objective attached, and it should have a deadline. In this example, reduce the lead time to deliver comfy chairs within 10 days within next 3 months. We can see that these 3 points are getting addressed. A business case is a compelling case, why a project is required. It should clearly state how the project is going to help an organization in meeting the objectives. Here is the example from the case study. While defining project scope, we make use of SIPOC analysis. A project scope states what all is in the boundaries of the project and what all is beyond. It also helps in making roles and responsibilities more clear. Usually, project scope is set by champion. To identify all relevant elements of a process improvement project before work begins, the team makes use of SIPOC diagram. SIPOC analysis summarizes the inputs and outputs of each process step in a tabular format. To do a SIPOC analysis, we should have a high-level process flow chart with definite start and end points. For each process step, we should find out the outputs and respective customers to whom the process impacts. Then, those who provide or supply inputs should be identified along with the inputs that they supply. Usually the high-level process consists of 7 to 8 steps as they exist on date. Understanding and being able to define project scope will give you a focus and sense of purpose when executing the project. Other elements in a project charter should be deliverables, assumptions, SWOT analysis, stakeholder analysis, roles and responsibilities, financial savings, etc. Schedule and deliverable planning is also very important. We should not choose any arbitrary project date, as it may lead to the project schedule not being followed and it won't have any use then. It is therefore important that the project schedule be created by a senior person on the team, like a project champion, a project lead, or someone with a similar level of authority. Here is the information that should be considered while scheduling. Historical Six Sigma information. It usually happens that many similar projects have been undertaken in the past. If the documented information is available about the learning and time taken in completion, it should be referred to before deciding the project schedule. Constraints. Most of the time, a project has to run in absence of some resources, or some resources are required late, or project has to convince the management about the value of resources. Such constraints should be identified beforehand and should be considered while planning and scheduling. Assumptions. There happen to be cases where training is given to newer members to carry out Six Sigma project tasks. Expecting them to be well versed immediately after training without any hands-on experience is also an unrealistic expectation. So schedule must address these kind of assumptions properly. Risks. The risks assessment provides a good estimate about the cases where a project is likely to suffer. So before arriving at a schedule, risk assessment should be done meticulously. When we do scheduling, it should have at least the end dates for 5 phases and their phase end or toll gate reviews. Deliverables and what value do they provide should also be identified and documented. We need to have well-defined team with allocated responsibilities. Six Sigma projects are usually started by one person who sees the opportunity and therefore champions the project. In the beginning, there may be 1 or 2 people who are working on the elementary documents like scope, financial benefits plan, etc. Then later on team expands, and other roles also come in picture. Actual practitioners are also given basic training and they help in data collection, giving improvement suggestions and implementing solutions. Here is a template of project charter that is available in the tool
This is
Sigma Excel.
going to be a repeat. To just highlight how a project charter looks and how it gets connected with the SIPOC deliverable is the best two deliverables that comes out of your define phase, which forms the best of the foundation for all the phases to follow.
Madam,
Now,
what is called DFSS? I saw.
we are
I saw.
we are going to, yes, sir.
I saw one. This DFSS.
Yeah, it is signed for Six Sigma. That is comes
Oh.
for the non-standardized process, as Shivakumar sir was telling yesterday. Probably, probably during the measure phase explanation, he will be in a position to explain it more, because Shivakumar sir.
Yes.
No.
Sir. What's your question? DFSS, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can use the DFSS for new product development. Suppose you
Okay.
want to come out with a new product which can cater to the needs of a particular segment of customer, then you can consider using a DMAT-B approach. It's not a small project. It's a complete product development, starting from concept till you launch your product in the market, and the entire activity is called DFSS. And the approach is DMAT-B:
Okay.
define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. And some you can, but however, the DMAT-B can be used inside a DMAC also. How? Sometimes what happens, instead of making minor changes, simple changes in the process, sometimes you have to relaunch the process by completely changing it. So that moment you can use the DMAT-B for developing a new process, but this new process doesn't create a new product, but serves a part of a output which goes to an existing product. So that's how DMAT-B comes into picture. If you use DMAT-B for complete development of a product, then it is called design for Six Sigma.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Particularly when you're pushing the prototypes, new prototypes into the market for testing everything, this DFSS will be of real help. Or when you are totally changing the process for the same product, you use it. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for stepping in. Now, we are going to the next phase, the measure phase. We are going to see